This is JC DeLass with this week's Fidelis Care Coach's Corner. And our guest this week is Gary LaPietra. He's now in his 20th season as head coach men's soccer at the college at Brockport. Coached 20 years at Brockport, 8 years before that at Aquinas. How has your coaching style changed over the years to where you are now?
Well, physically, I used to play all the time with the guys. So when I first started at Aquinas, we used to play. I was on the field with them all the time. And even the first few years at Brockport. So now I don't play as much with them, but it's more tactical, it's more game, it's more film session, things like that. So that's changed a bit.
How about the student athletes themselves, the kids that you work with? How have they changed over the years?
Good question. I mean, we bring players in from all over the state, so it's interesting how you have to gel with them and kind of learn their new antics and things like that. So initially with social media now, my recruiting's changed a lot because before I would be, sending letters out and all kinds of things like that. So now it's much easier with social media, with the emails, with the YouTube videos. It's easier for me to recruit, at least initially to get to know them a little bit better. And then once we like what we see, then I try to branch out and get my car and I go watch these kids play.
The game itself has really changed too. It's a much faster game now.
It is a little bit faster, and there's a lot more excitement with soccer now when I first started. So there's so much, some of these kids are just great physical athletes, but they need to learn the game a little bit more. So we try to make sure that they're watching more of the professional players as well on TV.
When you look back over your career, is there someone that jumps out that really helped you to get to where you are now, maybe a coaching mentor or someone who's offered you good advice along the way?
Good question, because when I first started at Aquinas, I really had very little experience, and soccer was always just a huge part of our family tradition with my dad, and just growing up and watching the Lancers and things like that. So I didn't really have a lot of coaching experience. So I kind of self-taught myself a lot of this, but my dad's always been like inspirational to me because he brought the soccer from Italy to me, and I kind of pass it on to my kids, and I pass it on to my students now. But I really didn't have a coach. I would say maybe Vic Carlson at Fisher. I mean, he was my head coach. He was the head coach at Fisher, and we talked a lot about international style soccer, and I kind of learned a lot from him too. So I'd say that's probably one coach that I would look back at.
You mentioned family tradition. Your son David is a senior on your team this year. That has to be really special to be able to coach your son along the way, and now this is his last season.
Yeah, I mean, initially I kind of took it for granted a little bit. Now it's kind of sinking in a little bit more because it's a senior year. But I've been very fortunate to coach my son and watch him mature, watch him do some great things for the men's program here. And now he's one of our captains. So it's been a long journey, because when I was first started here, he was like 2-3 years old, and he was just had his little jersey on running around the field. Now he's in his real jersey and helping us win games. So it's been a great experience for the family.
I would imagine some of those rides home have been interesting over the years.
Yes, it has been. Sometimes it just tunes me out, and sometimes I try not to overwhelm him with things because I have so many ideas and thoughts, and just try to improve his game. But he's been just great in regards to just taking it in stride. I mean, initially it was difficult on him sometimes too, but it's been just the greatest experience, and I'm just very fortunate that I've been able to coach him at this level.
Thanks for joining us, Coach.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
And thank you for watching this week's Fidelis Care Coach's Corner.